Hi, I'm Alexa and you're watching Cassette Media. Hi, I'm Alexa and you're watching Cassette Media. I'm here at the Melbourne ABC studios with Lindsay McDougall, also known as the Doctor on Triple J, and of course lead guitarist of Australian band Frenzal Rhomb. Hi Lindsay, thank you for speaking to us.
No worries.
Cassette Media.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jake. If you don't know, Jake's behind the camera, and he just, and I quote, said, "I've just figured out how to get it up." So everyone, a big round of applause for Jake. Jack's behind this camera, no idea about his state of ability when it comes to getting it up. Excellent. I can also state for the record, I got no idea how to do it. It's not my job.
Good to know. Awesome. So you're here in Melbourne for the J Awards,
yes,
of course. And so what is your... Explain what exactly the J Awards are for anyone who doesn't know, and what you're contributing to it.
Right. Well, I'll start by saying I'm contributing nothing. That's the thing there. I've never been nominated, never won. The J Awards were launched in 2005 as, well, originally it was just the J Award, which was basically Triple J went, they looked around and saw, you know, in America there's awards, in Canada there's awards, they got like the Mercury Prize in the UK, and we thought we didn't have one award just for the best Australian album. You know, there's ARIAs, there's all those silly awards, but there's not straight up one. So we thought, let's just do it and choose the best Australian album. And the very first winner was Wolf Mother. You know how well they're going now, so we did very well. But it was their very first album, and then on a few years later we added a couple of other categories. We added the best video clip, because Australian artists and Australian video makers spend a lot of time on video clips, and it is a very big form of, it's like one of those things that people really do take into account. And then with the burgeoning of Triple J's Unearthed program, and sort of supporting unsigned artists, we had the Unearthed Artist of the Year as well, which came in a few years ago. And the bands that have won that have been going so amazing. Bands like Boy and Bear, who just, that's where it blitz the world. And it's been going for a few years now. We're up to the 2012 J Awards, which are getting announced today. I'm guessing by now you know who won, so congratulations to all of those artists. And all I get to do this year, like in previous years, I've been on stage, I've you know, shook hands with people and handed them the funny little awards. Today, all I'm doing is in this studio, I'm just going to be playing music and talking, interviewing nominees, and then throwing to Tom and Alex from our breakfast program, who then will be on stage at the Ding Dong Lounge this afternoon, and they just do the whole thing. They'll throw it back to me to just say goodbye at the end. So really, as I said at the start, I'm contributing nothing to the actual J Awards.
Yes. Okay, so obviously Frenzal Rhomb has been a part of your life for such a long time.
So many J Award nominations.
You've been doing this for ages. Definitely Australian music veteran, really.
Yes.
So thinking back, way back,
yes.
do you remember what it felt like and what was going through your mind?
It hurt. That's not what we're talking about. Sorry. When I joined the band.
the very first time that your first show, when you were like, you know, a little baby, a little piglet on the stage.
Yes. These bacon-related analogies are really cute. It was actually in Victoria. I joined the band in May in '96, and we rehearsed for a little bit, and then very first shows were in Australia, in Victoria. First one I think was somewhere. Is there a Mansfield in Victoria? Does anyone know there's a Mansfield? Do they have gigs? Yeah, I think it was like Mansfield, or a place like Mansfield, or outside of Melbourne. But the rest of that we played, we did an all ages and an over 18s at the Hi-Fi. So my very first two city gigs were at the Hi-Fi in Melbourne, which is pretty amazing. And then we played a Sunday night gig at the Barwon Club in Geelong, and it was very weird. I think Jason, our singer, had lost his voice, so me and our drummer Nat at the time were doing back, like sort of supporting his lead vocals, I think. And I remember we're staying in a caravan park in like a cabins with like linoleum beds, and I remember being woken up, vinyl mattress beds, being woken up to go on stage with washing machine detergent being squirted into my eyes.
Oh,
and that taught me to be a man. So that was my first weekend on tour with Frenzal Rhomb, and it was here in beautiful Victoria.
Okay, so obviously through the extent of your long career so far, when was the moment you really realised that you were famous?
I know that, like, you know, getting recognised in the street and all that kind of thing is, you know, what people, you know, say you get famous. But people get recognised in the street all the time now. You know, you have a viral video clip, you get interviewed by a current affair, people recognise you on the street, you know. You become a racist arsehole on the Frankston bus and you get recognised in the street. But I think what I liked was when, and we were talking about this before off camera, it was like when decisions I made in my life made people make decisions in their life. So when people started going vegan because they knew that I was vegan and would bang on about it and stuff. And so I thought that was really nice. And some fans who'd come to shows, you know, eventually went vegan, and I'm still mates with these people, and this is like 10 years later, they're still vegan. I'm like, that's pretty good. That's like, you know, using the profile for good. And you know, it's sort of a nice way to look at it. The other things, you know, when you start getting mad blowjobs from... that's not true at all. But yeah, I think that, and when you get to go on Hey It's Saturday, that's when you know you're famous.
What's the craziest, or I guess the creepiest thing a fan's ever done?
I do know a really creepy thing though, and the end of this is already pretty funny too, because there was this girl who I knew had drawn me for like a year 9 of art class or whatever, and then I found out that she used to, with sticky tape her nose back like this so she could get a nose like mine, and my nose is a little upturned big nose. And so I found that out, and it was the funniest thing in the world. God. And then this girl, Natalie, became my flatmate for a few years, and she's lovely. Now she's a nurse, and she's in Afghanistan now, helping the poor people of Afghanistan. So, you know, it does have a happy ending.
What a great person, and I'm sure she would absolutely love that story was
yeah.
you know, started off by everyone knowing that she's
absolutely she did.
Okay, so I mean, obviously you are famous and you're very well known in Australia, if not one of the most well known people in Australian music.
I don't know about that. There's a lot more people. I think Rhys Maston would have something to say about that.
Oh God.
Rhys Maston or Jimmy Barnes.
So how do you think, or has success changed you?
I used to be really self-righteous, and people still think I am, about animal rights. And I remember there was like these 2 girls that came up to us after a gig in Newcastle, and they just wanted to like get their thing signed or whatever, and they had like McDonald's bags in their hands, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Get that shit away from my hands. And then I was like, realised it's not a very nice thing to do to poor girls that just wanted to get their stuff signed and just wanted to have a bite to eat after the show.
So how did it all happen? How did you become the Doctor on Triple J? Well, and of course, where does the name the Doctor originate from?
Well, it happened very simply because, as you may have guessed, myself and Jason are very good at talking shit. And
really?
So yes,
I don't know.
And
you're very serious to me.
Sometimes in interviews we would rabbit on about stuff, and Triple J also noticed this, and so they're like, well, let's get him on the other side of the thing, and if they can talk, lots to see how they are talking to other people, and so turns out we're pretty good at that, and well, relatively good at that. At least we could talk. So we learned how to do the buttony things, and that's technical talk for buttony things here.
The very confusing button display here.
Right. And then we did it, and so that was it. And yeah, like they were looking. Triple J was looking for something different when Adam and Will left, for something that wasn't comedians, that wasn't, you know. And I think they were probably thinking the same thing. Let's get musicians to interview musicians, and so they got us, and that was pretty much it. I already had the name The Doctor. I got the name The Doctor either on that very first Melbourne tour, or maybe in that same sort of month when Jason, we were probably playing that same drinking game, and I came back. It's a bit of a, not a dark story, it was a good happy ending, but I came back from going out to the merch desk to get a t-shirt to wear on stage, and came back, and there was no one in the band room. I was like looking for everyone, and I found Jason behind the couch. He'd fallen asleep with his head in our rider bucket, like with his like low rider bucket, and he wasn't breathing. And I was just like, this is no good, guys, what do you do? Oh, I don't know. And I remembered, luckily, that the way to bring someone, you know, like resuscitation is Dr. ABC, which is danger, response, airway, breathing, circulation. And so I did all that stuff. So I gave him mouth to mouth, and it didn't take him very much to bring him back to life, because I don't think he was really unconscious. He was just asleep. So I did the Dr. ABC thing, and I remember when the rest of the band came in, what they saw was me cradling our lead singer's head, kissing him passionately, which was me just trying to blow air into his lungs. And after explaining that away, I became the Doctor from Dr. ABC, and the fact that I kind of done a doctor thing and brought Jason back to
Wow, there's
life.
actually a pretty epic story
Yes.
to the name.
Yeah. So that was.
And he totally owes you.
Oh no, he let me date his sister for 6 years. So I think that was 6 years of him paying back. Exactly. So that was fine.
Who are, I guess, some Australian bands who have blown you away, really gotten your attention recently?
Well, the new song from Abby May is amazing, Armageddon, and I can't wait to hear her new record. Strange Flowers by Regular John, one of my favourite albums this year.
Regular John,
The best. But yeah, so those dudes, and yeah, Birdie Blackman, who's just, her albums are constantly just tearing my face off.
Where do you see yourself in the future? Like, do you still think you'd be doing Frenzal Rhomb in like 5 years' time?
Yeah, I think so. Jason turned 40 a couple of months ago, and I gave him a plaque, and on the plaque was what he'd said to his dad when he was 20 and he dropped out of university. I had it inscribed, and it was, "Don't worry, Dad, it's not like I'm going to be doing this when I'm 40. So
That's awesome.
he's past that, so I can't imagine what else he's going to be doing. So I'd say yes, we're going to be doing Frenzal Rhomb, as long as Jason wants to do it, because he's the guy that's, he's the silly idiot up the front of the stage.
So, of course, we have to talk about the amazing nomination at the
Oh,
Arias
yes.
this year.
It is. It's good. I think it's good. I described this the other day as so your Frenzal Rhomb are like your grandfather, or maybe your great uncle, and you put him in a home a few years ago, and occasionally you go there and you give, hey, and then you just remember, you've forgotten about him for a while, because he's over there, you don't get to see him much. Then you've remembered, oh my God, my great uncle was in a home. He's that weird one that, we used to not let really come over for Christmas because he'd get drunk and, ask weird questions. And then you go and give him some flowers. And that's, this ARIA nomination is us getting given those flowers, It's kind of like, we're that racehorse, and we haven't been able to really win a race for a very long time.
You've got
And
bad odds.
you're just trying to decide whether to pull out the curtain and just put the rifle in his head, after the Melbourne Cup, another failed Melbourne Cup, or maybe just let him just do one more round, just before you turn him into dog
Last
food.
hurrah.
Yeah, so this is it. This is the one more chance to keep Frenzal Rhomb from being turned into dog food.
And of course, the most exciting news that you've had recently is supporting
I'm
the
having a kid.
Descendants.
Oh yeah, the Descendants. Yes, yes, the Descendants is great. I can't. Yeah, we got to. Our manager brought them out a few years ago for the No Sleep Till festival, and then we went and recorded with the drummer from the Descendants, our last album. So to be able to play with them in these club dates is so good. We got asked. We said the Descendants and Bouncing Souls are coming out, and they're like two of our favourite bands. And not only are they our favourite band, they're nice guys. Like, you tour with bands who aren't nice guys, and these guys are like, wow. Like, I remember once we did this tour with the Dropkick Murphys, and half the Dropkick Murphys are lovely, half of them are idiots. And so to come back home and tour with the Bouncing Souls was so good because they're such nice people. And then to meet the Descendants and realise they're just like these four old nerds from America is great. And then recording with Bill, and then to get to play with them again is going to be awesome.
So, when are the dates and the venues, do you know?
End of February. bluemurder.com.au is where you'll find the dates.
Okay, well, thank you so much
That's
for
okay, Alexa.
coming in and speaking to me here at Cassette Media.
Yes.
And,
This isn't actually on cassette, which is so ridiculous.